I'm back now with some first aid implementations you can make with small mammals such as the Tenrec. First of all, I thought I'd go over some things we can do without getting the animal out of her enclosure. This is Pro C. This we would give to the animal if she seemed sluggish or was not eating. It's basically a prebiotic with vitamin C and glucose, so sugar and vitamins. So that should help pepper up a little bit. You would put that with the appropriate measurements on the back for an animal her weight and size, and it's soluble, so you put it in some water and see if she will drink it. If not, we have syringes for that type of thing, so you would just syringe it up into the carrier here and just squish it into the side of the animal's mouth. Always, of course, make sure your syringe is sterile, which is why I've not opened this one, but there are measurements on the side so you know exactly what millimeter dosage you're giving. The same here for this is called is an emergency pack, and this is for the same sort of thing for animals that maybe haven't eaten for a couple of days, and we don't understand why. We would give them, again, it's soluble, so you would put it in some water, mix it up. Dosage recommendations are all on the back, and if this was not ingested, so you would again use the syringe because you want to make sure the animal gets this. If it's not ingested properly, or if the animal doesn't show signs of getting better, then straight to the vet for an emergency visit. Now we're going to move on to the practical side of things. As we discussed earlier, the Tenrec's claws were quite long, so we're going to have a go at trimming those today. And we'll also look at what we should do if the Tenrec should get a cut on its paw or on its nose. So, as mentioned earlier, the Tenrec can be fed live locusts using the tongs to prevent injury, but sometimes that the locust may fight and she may still get a scratch on her nose. So if that was to happen, we would use a solution called F10, which is an antiseptic, so it prevents infection, and it will also clean areas. And we're going to use this today just to, again, put in a small bowl of water, and we're going to apply it with these swabs because she's so tiny. And we're also going to use this to clean her feet before we cut the nails, just to make sure that there's no risk of infection before we cut the nails. And we'll also show how you would clean the pad if the pad was cut in any way. Then there's a white powder, which I call Cicatrin. It's got lots of different brand names as well, and you can apply that white powder to any wound, and it helps to stop the bleeding and it helps healing. It can be used on humans as well as animals. That's really useful. We don't have any of that here today, but we do have a caustic pencil. This could also be used to prevent bleeding. It almost burns the wound closed. So these are quite difficult to use with small wriggly animals like the Tenrec. So you want to be very careful using this, but it helps prevent bleeding, especially if we have to leave the animals unattended overnight. That might be something we would use to seal any nerve that might have been cut and was bleeding after a nail trim. So I'm going to get my gloves on, and then we're going to get the Tenrec out, and we're going to look at cutting those nails.